we're back to horrible lighting because of course I waited until, what time is it? I don't have a clock in my room. 8 o'clock? 7 o'clock? It could be 10, I don't even know, to film a video, but here we are. Today I'm going to be doing a review over a book that I should have read a long time ago, but story later. The Twin Connection by the Loesch twins. This is an autobiographical book about two twins, and it's just kind of an explanation of their life and common questions they get and a ton of anecdotes behind those. This is an advanced copy of this book, but it came out in like October. I actually lost this. Then my dad found it in the car, and so I read it in one night. So finally I have a review up of this, but again, this is an advanced copy and you can go buy a real finished one. So I pretty much already gave you a synopsis, but it's about these two girls named Cailin and Hannah, and it's a collection of stories about their life. It addresses a lot of questions that twins get a lot, such as, do you dream the same thing? And it's done really cool because Hannah's stories are done in lighter colors, and Cailin's stories are done in the darker colors. So they both have individual pages and stories that they write. I give this book 4 stars. So let's get into my review. I have everything written on this sticky note. That was weird. So first of all, I want to say I loved how the layout of this book was. Like I just said, it had the different colors, and I think that was genius. At first it was kind of hard to remember who was who, but I think it was a really good technique on letting each girl share their individual stories. However, with the colors, I have like a minor complaint. Sometimes they did the pages like this, and sometimes they did the pages like this. I highly prefer this because sometimes these were hard to read. I love how Cailin and Hannah write also. It's a very conversational type of style. It's professional, yet it's fun. It feels like you're almost reading a conversation between them. I never read nonfiction because it just bores me to death, but this is very different. It wasn't ever disinteresting. Is that a word? I don't know. It is now. It's written by girls my age, and so it's very easy to understand, and it's very interesting, and I like how they wrote it. The only downside about the way it's written is that it seems like there were just a couple of times where the writing seemed a little bit pretentious. The book basically glorifies being a twin and what's so great about it, and after a little bit, they would be describing something and they'd say, "Isn't that cool?" And then it just felt like you were like, sure. I think I just felt kind of left out at some point because it seemed like these girls were kind of just sharing an inside joke with each other. The point of the book was to tell other people what it's like to be a twin, and I think they missed that point just a little bit because they would go into a bunch of stories about things they've done as twins and things they felt about having a twin, but yet it was more of telling a story about them rather than explaining what it was like. Which might seem like the same thing because I can't find a way to phrase that correctly. It was just them talking about being with each other instead of just saying, compared to being an only child or a non-twin child, that's what it would feel like. So it's informative, but sometimes I felt like it missed that mark. But regardless, I loved reading about their stories. It reads like real life fiction, and some of the stories at points I was being like, there's no way that's true, and I was just being such disbelief about it. Then you turn the page and there's a picture. So it's definitely very dramatic, and there's a lot of funny stories, a lot of cute stories. But going back to that whole pretentious thing, sometimes they would briefly mention an inside joke and then be like, in parentheses, you had to be there. And that would just came off really, not immature, but it just rubbed me the wrong way. That just made it again seem like it was this thing to be shared between only these two girls. Like I said, it just felt like more of a conversation between the two twins agreeing that twinhood was great, and it wasn't really intended for an audience, because if you were saying something on a stage doing a presentation, you wouldn't say, and this is what this was like, but you had to be there to understand. So I felt like that happened a couple of times and that was really unnecessary. But I mainly loved this book because it was relatable. I said earlier, they're my age. We're both seniors in high school, unless this book was written a while ago. But either way, they're like a year older than me, if not my same age. So I really enjoyed that aspect. I found myself relating to them a lot. Like, they would be talking about taking the SAT, which I did, and they're in German class, which I am. So I had a couple of really personal connections to that, and I know that's not everyone, but still, these girls are just so genuine, and it's like a ton of people could relate to them, I see. Like, at one point they were talking about a journalism camp they went to, and it's the same camp that I was once invited to, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is unreal, what a small world. These girls are just so great because they're wannabe, I don't want to say wannabe, but they're on their way to being journalists, and you really get to see that. And after I read this book, I went and looked up clips of them doing stuff, and they're genuinely cute girls, and I think that this book really kind of gives some background on that, and I give them applause for that. By the end of this book, I kind of wanted my own twin, which I see as a good thing. I finished it and I was like, that just sounds so fun. So they definitely did a really great job of making having a twin seem like a really fun thing, which to them it is. So like I said, I finished the book jealous because I wanted one. Can you imagine 2 Whitneys though? That would be catastrophic. So Cailin, Hannah, if you're watching this, you two are beautiful humans, and thank you for sharing this story with the world. Otherwise, thank you for watching this review, everyone. I will see you next time. Bye-bye!